All right, beginners, hello, and welcome to our video for week 5. I'm losing track, but I believe it's week 5. And this video is a little late in the making, so I definitely wanted to give it to you to refresh everything before we see each other next on Sunday. And to the point where I'm even not entirely clear what we went over either, so I'm going to give you a couple of options. I'm going to go through the rest of the song, so the entirety of the song. I'm going to go over the fingerings for it and the bowings. So if we have covered that, good. If not, don't freak out. We'll go over it in class on Sunday for sure. Okay, so let's start with that, the new part. So as you know, we've learned up to part 2. I'm just remembering now. Okay, good. So here's our last part here. Let me demonstrate it first. So we're starting on the open D. 1, 2, 3, open D. A, 4, 2, 1, D. 4 on the G. D, 2, 3, D, 2, 3. Okay, so there are a couple of ways that we're going to get this really solid here. One, that metronome again. Here's my super analog version, but you can download one on your phone, and it works just as well. You don't have to get a crazy Dr. beat like I have. So I've got this set to, let's see here, good practice tempo, I would say, probably around 75. Here's 75. And I'm going to count that off again. 1, 2, 3. D, A, 4, 2, 1, D, 4 on G, D, 2, 3, D, 2, 3. So go ahead and practice that first, just to get used to what the rhythm is like. And then what I would recommend doing is plucking the previous section that we already know so well and working it into the new section. So again, try your metronome for this. Now, if you find that the metronome setting for you at this point is too fast, like you're flubbing notes every time, that's your indication, right? If it's too fast, you won't be able to get through the song smoothly, okay? So that's when I would recommend slowing it down. I can't recommend slow practice enough. The slower you can get it to a speed where you can just really actually get through the piece, then you're capable of improving. But if you keep trying and trying and trying at a speed that's just too fast for you, meaning you're messing it up and messing it up and messing it up, trust me, the trajectory for you actually mastering this tune is going to be infinitely longer. So slow it on down if you need to. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. Also, if you want to go over anything I just demonstrated a couple of times throughout this video, feel free to pause it and just try it on your own. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start from part 2. So remember, this is 4 on the A. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so once you've gotten that feel down a couple of times, and you're feeling like confident in the left hand, time to add the right hand. Now, at this point, I'd probably force you to do open strings. We're not going to cover that in the video, but I can still tell you that all of you can benefit from doing that. You're just going to get masterful at that sound. So the second, and this is what I'll tell you, if you start to practice this and you're like, oh, I sound so bad, try it with the open strings and see if that helps, because then you just really get to concentrate on your bow. The bow is really, really difficult. It's very easy to make some nasty sounds with it. So, you know, be thorough. But in any case, so let's try just part 3 with the bow, with the metronome. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to do that one more time. 1, 2, 3. try that a few times more. In fact, I would expect that, to make sure that the bow is where you need it to be, so you don't accidentally run out of bow, specifically like closer to the frog. If you notice that that's happening, what you might want to do is do some faster bows. No, oh look, I'm like halfway out on the bow. Now I have plenty of space to do the rest of this phrase. 1, 2, 3. Notice how long that bow is? The last 2 notes are particularly long, so you want to make sure that you're not going to run out of bow. Okay, good. So now what I'd recommend doing, just like we did with pizzicato, with plucking I mean, is to start from part 2. So put that puppy back on. I'm going to count off. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. So 2 things about that. One, I should have mentioned that we do start on an up bow, meaning we start away from the frog a little bit, and then we're going to move towards the frog on that first note we play. Don't go the other direction, otherwise you're going to be totally backwards, and it gets very confusing. Okay, so start on an up bow. We're going to do it again, and then notice that basically whenever I have a short note, like the first one, right? That first note is short, and all the notes like that. My bow's going to move a little faster. The notes that are a little bit longer, I move slower, so on and so forth. So when I get to that 4 on the G, move like 2 miles an hour. Now, if you're getting a sound that's a little too, right, it's a little too dead, you know, maybe speed up the bow just a little bit, or move down a little closer to the bridge, or don't press so hard. Find a balance. Remember, I always say location, pressure, and speed are going to be your factors in the bow. And you know that we have to do a slow bow on that 4 on the G. So make sure that you're compensating by not pressing too hard or being up too close to the fingerboard for that note. So all different speeds, we map it out. This is called bow distribution. Let's try that together one more time, keeping that in mind. So slightly faster on the short notes and a little slower for each note length that gets longer. Okay, starting on that up bow. And don't start out here, right? It's not a super long bow. 1, 2, 3. So at this point, if there are specific parts of that song that sort of trip you up, what I'd recommend doing is have the finger chart in front of you, maybe make a little note, like a star or something, to remind yourself to practice it a few times. Let's say, like, for instance, this part messes you up. Like something weird happens when you try to go down to that note. Okay, so you know it's like maybe something between the note before it, the 1 on the D to the 4 on the G. Or I guess the bowings are back, the other way around. So up bow, down bow. Maybe there's something about that change from the strings or the fingering or something, but you're not really sure. So slow it down. Just try maybe those 2 notes a couple of times. And just see, like, you know, ask yourself a series of questions like I always do. Are your fingers curved? Are you getting over to the string in time? Are you pressing down hard enough? How's your posture doing? Is your bow straight? All those like questions that I'm always grilling into you guys during the week are designed to stick in your head so you can ask yourself that at home, where all the real work happens, right? So you slow it down, you try to figure it out. Maybe it's okay, maybe it's my fingering, so I'm gonna practice it plucking. Maybe it's the bow, so I'll practice it open string. That actually is kind of tricky, isn't it? You know, to get those strings to speak. I don't know, figure it out. Like, just try it a couple times, and then plug it back in. And maybe it will be better, or maybe it won't. Here's the key. When you start to do work like that, you're trying to figure out what's happening that's like not to your liking. Don't get frustrated, okay? Don't be like, oh, this is horrible, you know, or start complaining in your mind that the cello is really hard. It is really hard, but you have to understand that we get in our own way when we start to stack expectations of where we should be with it. So if you're getting frustrated, it's probably because you may not even realize it, but like subconsciously you're getting frustrated because you expect yourself to have this down already. Like, I've practiced it a million times. We've gone over this in class. I should have it. But what you have to understand about learning an instrument as challenging as the cello is that to really internalize all of these micro movements that we have to learn how to do in order to create that ultimately nice sound takes an awful lot of repetition. So the less you can get frustrated, the more you can just keep making the effort. You might have to try something 20, 30 times to really get it. I'm speaking from personal experience here. And it can be many more than that. So give yourself the space to practice, to repeat, to keep trying and stay focused and calm, and forgive yourself. And even at the end of 45 minutes, if you feel like nothing really happened, you didn't make any improvement, I guarantee you the effort that you put in will manifest at some point. It will show up later, maybe the next day, maybe the next week. You never know. Things settle over time. So just remember to give yourself the space. Don't walk away from the instrument just because you're frustrated. Try to calm down and then approach it again. Then you get that time in to really just prep, because this is just a lot of work, you know, it's a lot of just digging in and practicing. Okay, so that was my soapbox. As always, give me some feedback. Let me know if you have any questions. If I rambled too long on this video, tell me that too. And I can't wait to see you guys on Sunday. All right, take care. Bye.